Hey everybody, my name is James Keller. Yes, I am a girl named James. And the title of my talk today is 42. Do you guys know what 42 means? Yeah. So in his seminal work, The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, Douglas Adams declared 42 to be the answer to life, the universe, and everything. Sadly, humanity is still left wondering what the heck the question is. And this is what we're here to talk about today. We are here on a quest for meaning, because who doesn't want more meaning in their life? So this is Ignite. We have 5 minutes, so I have 2 topics. 1, what is meaning? What does meaning mean? And 2, how can you get more of that in your own life? So it turns out I've been obsessed with this quest for meaning going way back in my life. Many of you might know me. I've been a part of the Portland tech community for almost 20 years as a designer. But prior to that, I am a recovering liberal arts major. And I studied literature, and the thing that I was obsessed with literature was something called semiotic theory, which is the study of meaning. And so the interesting thing about semiotic theory is it's actually the fact that language is fundamentally flawed. And so I'm going to save you guys 4 years and a bunch of student debt and try to explain semiotic theory in 30 seconds. So for those of you who don't know this painting, this says, "This is not a pipe." Why is this not a pipe? Because it's a picture of a pipe. Semiotic theory is that all language is inherently flawed because language is referential. When you use a word, you're referring to a thing. So if I say sloth, that's not a sloth, it's a word referring to a sloth, right? And so there's this chance that my intent, my meaning, fails in this gap between my intent and your understanding of the thing, because we all bring the different context of our own lives to how we communicate. And this creates a lot of problems in our world. And by the way, I'm talking about language, and you're kind of like, well, James, language, meaning, and some of you are probably thinking about that existential meaning. Communication is a foundation of society. We think in words, and so that language is existential, and it's where that sort of connection, that communication can get lost. And by the way, as technologists, we're making this absolutely worse. We're expressing ourselves in 140 characters. The emojis on iPhone don't look the same on Android. We are creating these problems for our people. And you technologists, how many non-buttons have you put in the world? These are abstractions, right? And we are creating this world. So what's a girl to do? What are all of us to do as we have this new world of technology that's fraught with these gaps in communication? But the good news is, I'm here to tell you that I think this is a very solvable problem. And this is where we're going to sort of transition from what is meaning to talk about how you can bring meaning into your own life, which I'm pretty excited about. So one of my favorite things about language theory is, if you think about it, language is just something that people made up. At some point, someone described some pictures or a couple of sounds, and they all agreed that it made a thing, right? So that is the basis of language. We are all empowered to make language, to be meaning makers. So let me give you a really great example. I have a friend, Kate. She was out drinking with friends, drinking bourbon, and they had the best business idea. They're like, you know what? We're going to take a bar and a bakery, and we're going to put it together, and it's going to be a bar bakery. They woke up the next morning, hungover, and realized this was a terrible idea. And so they imbued that term, bar bakery, with this notion of being a shit show. And as responsible adults, they actually put this out on the internet, on Urban Dictionary. You can look it up. And so the great thing about this term, bar bakery, is they made it up. They put it out there, and it's useful. This was me in my first Ignite talk ever, by the way. Sometimes you don't want to stand on a stage in front of 300 people and say shit show because there's children in the audience. I'm sorry. But anyway, so how do we share meaning? You develop an idea. You give it context. Why does it matter? Who is it for? How do you turn that thought into a thing? And if you share that idea, you're creating connections between people. And that's really what meaning is all about. They've done a study in workplaces that you derive happiness from receiving, but in the workplace, you derive meaning when you share. So at work, in your day-to-day life, I don't care if you're doing a TED Talk, an Ignite Talk, a jam of jelly for someone, or an app, make stuff that matters. Have an idea, give it context, communicate, double down on communication, and that's how you create meaning in your life. I'm James. I work for a place called Uncorked Studios, where I'm a professional semiotician. It's a thing. Thank you so much for listening.